UFC 311 is going to be taking place at the weekend. Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. They're going to be running it back, followed by a very good co-main event of Umar Nurmagomedov versus Merab Everywhere. We have the Money Moicano show. We have Yuri Prohaska. We have Peyton Talbot. We have a little bit of everything on this card. Let's get fucking straight into it. First fight of the night, Clayton Carpenter, Tigura and Bekov. This is a good one to open the card. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. Clayton Carpenter's undefeated. This is like first on the early prelims for a reason. Like, there is an insane amount of hype for this on my end. Like, it'll be a good one to watch, but nothing too crazy. I am going to pick... I'll go with Clayton Carpenter on this one. I know the bookies have an underdog in this fight, but I do think Clayton Carpenter has very underrated grappling to where I feel like he can get this one. I don't think he submit him though. He has a few submissions on his record. Tiger, bit of a beast as well. You know what I mean? The bookies have him a big favourite. I also think that's because he's training with Islam and Khabib. Anyway, I am going to go with Clayton Carpenter on this one. I'm going to go with Clayton Carpenter via decision. I think he's going to be able to get this one done. I like the way he's able to hold fighters down, and I think he's going to get it done that way. Next up, Ricky Tercios, and he's going to be taking on Bernardo Sapage. I think we all kind of not grew up with Ricky Tercios, but we all watched him throughout The Ultimate Fighter. The dude kind of just didn't seem to really kick on in his UFC career, if I'm being completely honest with you. He had that absolute howler of a fucking fight against Ferrero Rosas Jr., which happens, you know what I mean? Which happens. Had that kind of Ultimate Fighter run as well, so fair play to him for that. But you know, a lot of these tough fighters, like a lot of people win tough and go on to do good things. I'm not saying that they don't, but he's not going to be one of them, unfortunately for him. Fighter no one really gives a fuck about, you know what I mean? If I saw a stat, he had like a 27 strikes or something like that. He landed 27 strikes in a fight and threw 200 and something, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he had an 11% accuracy. Imagine shooting 100 takedowns and you get 11. That is fucking ridiculous. Or even throwing 100 punches and you land 11. Like, that's just insanity. You can't do that. So, how am I going to pick him to win this fight? I'm going with Bernardo Sapage. I feel like he's going to finish Ricky in the first round, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm going to go with the first round. I feel like he gets one by the sub. I'd definitely finish him in the first, but yeah, never ever bet on Ricky Sapage. Next up, Ricky Nakamura versus Ruin Gafanov. Bit of a good fight for this one at bantamweight. Rena's undefeated, but I'm not going to be picking him in this fight. I'm going to go with Muna Gafarov. I think he's going to be able to do a bit more on the feet on this one. Yeah, there's not much to be said really here. Don't really see either of these guys progressing through the bantamweight division quite yet. Bantamweight is really stacked though. Like, it's the most stacked division in the UFC. So, got time. Munov Gafarov, I like him a bit everywhere. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's going to be able to get this one done. I don't really rate Rinya too highly. I feel like there's a bit of a... I feel like he's going to have to lose that O to kind of move forward with some of his fights. Like, some fighters, they need to lose that O to kind of get over shit. Not saying he's undefeated, so he doesn't have anything to get over, but yeah. Don't really like him in this fight. I know the bookies have him a big favourite, but I'm going to go with Munov Gafarov. Fuck it, who cares? Next up, Karol Rosa versus Alan Perez. So we have another WMA bantamweight fight in an absolute fucking thriller. You know, I'm going with Alan Perez on this one. Alan Perez, sorry. No one cares. Dead fight. Karol Rosa is the favourite. Both are gonna fucking... It's probably gonna be a decision, like, and they'll just fucking give it to whoever. And no one's gonna really care. Next up, I'll go with fucking Alan Perez via decision now. Next up, Zachary Reese versus Asmat Bekavov. Asmat Bekavov is making his UFC debut, I believe, and he seems like a bit of a fucking lion outside the cage. Zachary Reese, you know, hasn't really shown me an awful lot, but I haven't watched Asmat Bekavov as much as I have Zachary Reese, but I think Asmat Bekavov is going to be able to get this one done. He had a good stint within the PFL, LFA. Good finish ratio. He's got 8 submissions on his record, 6 KOs, 4 decisions. I think he's going to get this one done via submission. Could be a little bit of clinch work going on here. He ends up getting him down, getting him through submission. Would not be surprised if it's a decision as well, though. Yeah, I'm gonna go back for on that one. Next up, we have one of my biggest prospects at lightweight for fucking ages, but let me down. Grant Dawson, and he's taking on Diego Ferreira. Grant Dawson is still in the mix, okay? He's still in the mix. I don't really necessarily think just because you lost to Bobby Green that you're completely out of the picture. But then again, I think you look at the way Pimblett fucked Bobby Green up. You look at the way Drew Dober chinned him. Bobby Green is such a fighter that's literally there to lose. Not there to lose, but he's there to be beaten. And Grant Dawson has great submissions, and I'm going to pick him via submission on this one. I know Diego Ferreira is good, but I just think Grant Dawson still has it. You know what I mean? He's coming off that Rafael Garcia win. He's picked up some decent wins throughout his career. You know, Jared Gordon. He finished Jared Gordon, I remember. But I still think he has a long way to go to get towards that kind of top or echelon of the lightweight division. Obviously, we have the lightweight main event, title fight main event in this one. Still, just don't see it with Grant Dawson, okay? And it fucking pains me to say it, but I just don't really see it in this one. In this fight, I see it, but not in his career, I should say. Next up, I'm going to go with Grant Dawson I'll go via third round submission after a good performance. Close fight where he's got rocked in a few bits, whatever. Next up, we have one that has just got added. Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elikana. I am not going to... This just got added, so we'll go with Bogdan via KO. Fuck it, we'll go with Bogdan via KO. He's got some nice hands, and I like him in this fight. Billy Elikana making his debut. Let's fucking go. Next up, we actually have one of the kind of first fights of the card that has a bit of name and kind of implications within the division. We got Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. If you know Jailton Almeida, you know he is unbettable on, okay? This dude, look at that Curtis Blades fight. That was possibly one of the most pitiful performances I have ever seen within a fighter, okay? That was an absolute fucking disgrace. Okay, you literally just gave up. The second Blades actually started throwing something, Almeida just crumbled. And it was an absolute fucking disgrace. And I will never confidently pick Almeida. I know the bookies have him a favourite, and I'm going to be picking him in this fight. But under no circumstances will I ever sit there and say Jailton Almeida will smoke someone. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Maybe Tsarukyan might beat well after that performance, but fuck me, Jailton Almeida disappointed. Sergey Spivak, you know what I mean? He's such a gatekeeper in towards the kind of top 10. He's only had 4 losses in his career. You know what I mean? Once to Tom Aspinall, once to Tsarukyan. I feel like he's going to get another one here. He seems to kind of just not be able to break through to get to that upper echelon of the division. You know what I mean? That kind of... Even like a fucking Volkov who's on fucking smoke right now. Even someone like that, Jailton Almeida will be able to control him down, just hold him down this fight, hold him against the cage probably. Spivak might be able to land a little bit on the feet, but he's not going to win this fight. Jailton Almeida's ability to just go over there and hug you is too much for Spivak in this fight, and I don't really like it. So yeah, I'm going to go with Sergey Spivak on that one. Next up, Peyton Talbot is going to take out Ranio Barcelos. Peyton Talbot is everything right with the sport at the moment. This dude is on a fucking tear, and... He's got it, man. He's one of those people that just have it. He's got it in the striking aspect, which is exactly what people want to see. He seems to have that look as well as, you know, Nadia said he's got the weedy back look. I kind of really noticed this guy probably not far off a year ago when he beat Cameron Simon. Now, if you know Cameron Simon, Cameron Simon's a very good fighter. And Cameron Simon, I believe, was only 1 loss in the UFC at the time. And Peyton Talbot went in there and just smoked him. You know, he went through a decision with Reyes Cortez. Not too mad at that. It was the Contender Series, you know. Submitted Nick Agaru. The dude's just an absolute fucking beast. He's so quick and he's got the hands power to match it. And I just think this guy can go really far. I think this guy can go far. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of steps up against the kind of echelon of the division, because we've seen it before where fighters, they're looking class on the prelims. Bantamweight is absolutely stacked as well. So I'm very curious to see what this guy is going to be like come... You know, those fucking big matchups within the division. The Sanhagens, the O'Malley's. You know what I mean? Even some like Kyler Phillips or Rob Font. You know what I mean? They're kind of the bottom half of the division. Song Yudong, Stenry Cejudo. They're knocking about in the half the ranking, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he comes with in this division, because a lot of these people in bantamweight are strikers, and I'm very curious to see how their kind of stylistic matchups. Him versus O'Malley, that seems to be the fight. That seems to be the fight everyone's got their kind of eye on, to happen within the next kind of 2-3 years. And I'm fucking here for it, bro. I'm fucking here for it. I know he hates being compared to O'Malley, but when you're chinning people like that and you've got that look, I mean, it's quite hard not to be. It's quite hard not to be, but I mean, Peyton Talbot, first round KO. He's a 13-1 favourite on this card. There's not much really more to say. Now we're on to the main card. We have Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland versus Rainer de Ridder. I'm going to Ridder on this one, straight out the gap. I cannot trust Kevin Holland in a fight, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, Kevin Holland has so much potential. The fact this fight is fucking at middleweight as well just does not fill me with confidence. Rainer de Ridder has got, I think, 13 submissions in his whole career, which, if you watch Kevin Holland, his grappling, not to say his grappling actually, his wrestling isn't his strong point. Kevin Holland has extremely good jiu-jitsu, okay? He's coming off that first round kind of injury against Rome Delizzi. You lose to Michael Venom Page, you lose to Jack Della Maddalena, you lose to Stephen Thompson. He's got some good wins though, like he beat Ponzinibbio, he beat Michael Chiesa, Alex Oliveira, Tim Means. Solid wins on the resume, solid wins, but I just think Kevin Holland is fine with getting paid, and I don't think he cares too much about winning. I think when Kevin Holland fights, if he knows he can't beat you, he kind of just starts talking, makes it entertaining, and goes, shoot, I'm just getting paid. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't actually I just think Kevin Holland, he has this kind of thing of just not giving up, I wouldn't say, but just kind of hitting that wall and he can't seem to get past it. I really noticed in the MVP fight, MVP was just better than him everywhere, and he had no answer for him. You know what I mean? He didn't even try to come up with an answer. He was like, fuck it, I'm getting paid. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really like that. And when you're fighting someone like de Ridder, who's going to be heavier than you, who's going to be able to take you down and hold you down, considering his strides, who's unbelievable at wrestling, or grappling. This dude was at ONE FC for fucking years, bro, and was finishing fights via submission. Now, he did have that kind of bad spell in ONE FC. He came off, I think, two losses, and he got finished in both of them, I think, on the feet, if I'm not mistaken. But then he kind of came back and he submitted Gerald Meerschaert, which is actually a fucking solid fucking win. Submitting Gerald Meerschaert, you know what I mean? Very solid win. That was only back in November as well, so... And we know Kevin Holland's extremely active, so I'm not really worried about the activity levels. But yeah, I don't really like Kevin Holland in this fight, to be honest with you. I don't like him bouncing up and down weight classes. I think de Ridder's going to be able to hold him down. He's going to be way bigger and stronger than him and heavier than him. And Kevin Holland's so inconsistent, you can't really bet on him. And, I fucking love Kevin Holland, so I hope he wins this fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with de Ridder. And I'm going to go with de Ridder by first round submission, to be honest with you. Next. Now, onto the real business, the real meat and bones of this card. First up, we have Renato Moicano versus Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is one of, I won't say the most hated fighters in the UFC, but Beneil Dariush is not fucking liked. Beneil Dariush is not fucking liked at all. Dariush had a really good run back in the day, maybe about 2-3 years ago, and he just seemed to not really get that form back after he beat Mateus Gamrot. He was actually a favourite against Charles Oliveira on the Amanda Nunes card, which is a fucking crazy thought. To think that's only 2 years ago as well, man. That's only 2 years. And, you got chinned by Charles, you get chinned by Arman Tsarukyan. It's not really looking exactly up for the Beneil Dariush. I really don't think he's going to be able to get back to that stage that he was in when he was in those Charles fights. He was booked to fight Islam as well. They were massive fights, you know what I mean? They would have easily given Beneil Dariush the title shot if he had beaten Charles, if he had beaten Makhachev. I know this was before Makhachev was a champion, but beating Islam Makhachev, you're going to be up there, okay? You're going to be up there. And, he's 16-6 in the UFC. It's 2 losses now. He hasn't had a win in two years. He came with the Tony Ferguson win as well. The dude was a fucking beast. For a while there, and he looked like he was going to be a serious contender within the division, but didn't seem to kick on at all. And it's Money Moicano time. let's make no mistake about this. Renato Moicano has become one of the fucking pillars of the sport for me. I've said this for a while now. The UFC's in a bit of a drought. Okay, it's in a bit of a drought. Moicano really kind of had a really like a kind of stop and start kind of career, and it seems to be now this is his pinnacle of his career as regards his performances. He was featherweight for a while. He had a few kind of shaky performances. You get chinned by Brad Riddell. You lose to RDA on short notice, but then you come back with a good win against Brad Riddell. You get chinned by Fiziev. You lose to the Sanyos. They're not continuous now. He lost to Fiziev, submitted Jai Herbert, submitted Alexander Hernandez, lost to RDA on short notice, beat Brad Riddell, you beat Drew Dober, you beat Jalen Turner, you beat Benoit Saint Denis. Fucking serious wins, okay? Serious wins. He even beat Chase Hooper in a grappling match, which, if you know Chase Hooper, you know he's not to be fucked with on the ground. And Moicano really made himself a staple within the division when he picked up that mic and called out the French president, I don't even know who the fuck he is, French president, fucking whatever you want to say, in his last fight. He's got on the mic and done some impressive things. When he fought Turner, I rewatched that fight today. Nothing special on the feet, if I'm being completely honest. Nothing special on the feet. Turner would have chinned him if he had any sort of fight IQ whatsoever, to be honest with you. Moicano was hurt bad at the end of that first. Bad, bro. Fucking bad. And Turner just didn't capitalise, okay? He had the Brad Riddell, and then he took kind of a year and a bit off. Fought Drew Dober in a close decision fight. It wasn't exactly entertaining, let's be honest with you, but got the job done. He's meant to fight Arman Tsarukyan, that got cancelled. Moicano's been a pillar in this division for so long, and it's time now. It's never going to happen for him, I don't think, unless it's now where he moves forward and really starts to take in these top 5 fighters. I do think this fight, if Moicano wins, has implications of a top 5 fight. I don't think that's going to be the case for Beneil Dariush. A, because the fan interest, and B, because this dude's talking about retirement every interview. He's like, I'll see, man, I'll see. And you don't see Moicano saying that. Moicano says, brother, money, fight. That's all he wants. And if I'm the UFC, I'm like, fuck that guy. I want the guy who's on a tear, fans have interest, and is good on the mic. That's the guy I want to see. And Moicano takes that box, man. He takes that box. And how does this fight go? I should probably talk about the fight. I like Moicano in this fight, simply because of the things I've said of Beneil Dariush is on a decline and Renato Moicano is coming into his prime performances of his career. I like Moicano in this fight. I don't think Moicano is going to be better than Dariush on the feet, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really trust Moicano's chin 100%. I don't necessarily think it's a bad chin, but I do think the chin has openings, and I do think a great striker can knock him out and can find that chin. Beneil Dariush, thankfully, is not that. This could even be a stand-up fight where Moicano is good at being able to check kicks, because I do think his ability to check kicks is good. And whenever they're kind of exchanging on the feet, Moicano is able to get Beneil. I do think Beneil Dariush is actually quite dangerous on the ground. I'm not denying the guy's skill set or anything like that, but I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I think Moicano's on this incline and Beneil Dariush is on this decline. And I think the momentum Moicano's going to have going in there, smashing Benoit Saint Denis up in France, is going to be a lot more than Dariush is going to have coming off getting shin in the first round by Arman Tsarukyan. And, Moicano, he finished Jalen Turner, beat Drew Dober. This dude's been in there with people like Jose Aldo, Rafael Fiziev, Calvin Kattar, I think it was. The dude is an absolute fucking beast. Like, he's fought everyone, and he's a monster, bro. He's one of the most experienced veterans in the game, and I just love watching Moicano fight, and I can't wait to see this one happen. I feel like this could be a retirement party for Beneil Dariush, to be completely honest with you, and I think this will send Moicano into those really money fights, you know what I mean? Paddy Pimblett, he's going to be booked up soon. Not sure who he's going to really fight. There's speculation, but could be Fiziev, could be Chandler. Who the fuck knows it's going to be? Justin Gaethje is going to be fighting Dan Hooker, which I fucking called. Okay, I fucking called that fight, and it's on this fucking channel. It's on the Matchmaker Monday, the series I used to do. I called that shit. Okay, I fucking called it. Anyway, that's going to be happening soon. So Moicano could fit into kind of a loser's top 5 fight. You know, if Poirier versus Hooker fight. Who knows the winner of that? Maybe Moicano will fight Gaethje if he wins. Hooker will look up towards that title picture. But the thing is, if Dan Hooker wins, you don't give him a title shot because Islam fucking breezed him. Do you know what I mean? And if Dan Hooker ends up being the number 1 contender, you just let Islam move up or something, because it's not a competitive fight, him versus Hooker. It wasn't a competitive fight the first time. You know what I'm saying? We need people like Arman Tsarukyan's in the division to where I think Gaethje will win that fight personally, but who knows? Back to this fight. I just think Moicano's on an incline. Beneil Dariush's on a decline. I like Moicano in this fight. I think he's going to be too good on the ground. Got to be careful on the feet. Hasn't got the best chin, but yeah, I'm on Moicano. Next up, one of the possible greatest 3-round fights I am going to see in the UFC. We are going to see in the UFC. Yuri Prochazka has got 26 KOs on his record, which is an insane statistic. Jamal Hill hasn't even got that many fights. And if you double it, he still hasn't got that many fights, I don't think. Or wins, sorry. But anyway, Yuri Prochazka has his style, okay? I rewatched some of their fights today, and I did make a video saying Jamal Hill is going to knock out Yuri Prochazka, and I still stand by that. And it's going to be in the first round. Okay, it's going to be in the first round. I rewatched the Rakic fight as well. Rakic was beating Yuri Prochazka. The last time he had like a proper win, like get behind, was the Glover Teixeira fight. Do you know what I mean? And damn, bro, he almost lost that fight. He almost lost that fight. Put it this way: Yuri Prochazka is 4-2 in the UFC. 4 wins and 2 losses. Isn't that fucking insane? Okay. Now, given his 2 losses were to Alex Pereira, who happens to be, you know, arguably the pound for pound number 2 fighter in the world. Pound for pound number 1, depends who you ask. No shame in losing to them, but you're losing to Rakic. You're getting absolutely fucking chinned by Pereira badly, which isn't going to do anything for your chin or anything like that. And I just don't see it, bro. I don't see it in Yuri's movement to be able to get out of the way of Jamal Hill's fucking ridiculously underrated boxing. Jamal Hill is one of the most underrated fighters I've ever seen. This dude is so good on the feet. I said this in the video about Pereira, or Jamal and Yuri. Jamal Hill has one of the most underrated performances in the Glover Teixeira fight. And I know what people are going to be thinking. Oh, well, he was finished and he retired. I know he did. But he was beating Yuri 6 months before that fight. That's something to consider, okay? That's something to consider. But you knock out Jimmy Crute in the first round. You knock out Johnny Walker in the first round. You finish Thiago Santos in the 4th round. You finish Owen St. Preux in the 2nd round. You know, fucking class. And the knee injury he had just really didn't do him any good. And I feel like when he came back in there against Alex, it was kind of not short notice, I will say, but definitely shorter than like an average training camp Jamal Hill might have. And I know he had that against Glover, but it's a different beast. Come on. Alex Pereira's a different beast. But having rewatched both their fights, I think Yuri has definitely got better head movement, but I think Jamal Hill has got way cleaner strikes, and I think Yuri can get hit so much that to where Jamal Hill is going to have success within his strikes moving forward. One thing I'm a bit concerned about with Jamal Hill is that with Pereira, he was chewing up Yuri's leg early on, and he did really well with those low kicks. Jamal Hill just is not going to go in there and throw low kicks. He's not going to throw kicks at all. He's going to go in there and box with Yuri, which kind of, you know, Pereira's threat of the low kick was a massive thing for Yuri, and it gave him something to think about. He's only having to worry about Jamal Hill's hands in this fight, I feel. And that's going to be an advantage to Yuri because you're only focusing on one thing. You don't have to think about them going low or anything like that. And that's an advantage. But I just think Yuri Prochazka's fight style is fucking terrible, bro. It's terrible, okay? You get away with that against like Dominic Reyes, who nearly beat him, by the way. You get away with that against the Dominic Reyes. You barely get away with against a Rakic, okay? You beat Glover Teixeira, you nearly lost that fight. I know this dude's fight style is, kill or be killed, and that's how he wins, is getting you in those wars, and then kind of gets you later on, but Jamal Hill ain't getting sucked into no war. Jamal Hill's too crisp on the feet to get sucked into a war, in my opinion. And I think he's going to be able to just find the range in this fight. I think he's going to be able to pick Yuri apart. I really do. And I think he's going to be able to chin him badly in the first round with like a nasty fucking right hand down the middle. Catches Yuri as Yuri's kind of coming in. Even like a hook or something like that, I can see Jamal Hill getting him with. And yeah, man, I think it's going to be fucking bad. I just don't trust Yuri's chin after getting brutally KO'd by Alex Pereira, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I'm going with Jamal Hill by first round KO. Going with Hill first round KO. Now, on to the co-main event of the evening. Merab Everywhere versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I am fucking praying Umar wins this fight, man. I am praying. Listen, if you watch this channel at all, there's a very good chance that I've mentioned Merab's name at least once in any of my videos and shit on him, okay? I don't necessarily dislike... Actually, I do dislike Merab, but I respect Merab. I respect Merab as one of the greatest bantamweights ever, even though his fight style is fucking shit, okay? And it's boring as fuck. Okay, let's get that out of the way, that Merab's style is fucking boring. Okay, don't let these fucking casuals take you into, you're just a fucking casual. Shut the fuck up, okay? His fight style is fucking boring. It's fucking shit. Okay, we want to see the Yans. We want to see the O'Malley's. We want to see the Sanhagens. We don't want to see someone held up against the fucking cage. It's bullshit, and I'm fucking sick of people saying you have to like it. I don't. No one likes it. Okay, at least he finished Marlon Moraes. Ooh, couldn't finish Cody Stateman. Couldn't finish Josh Johnson. Ricky Simons sent his chin into oblivion. And Frankie Shawns beat him in the fight. It's insane, bro. Then he's went on this mad fucking... He finished Ruben Slots, back in 2017 in Ring of Combat. Thank fuck. Ruben Slots got fucking chinned by Patchy Mix. But anyway, I'm going on a ton around here. I like Umar in this fight. I think as much as we've only seen one fight from Umar, because that's all he's really shown is one solid performance, that was against a fighter in Corey Sandhagen who I thought was going to go in there, shut Umar down with the grappling and have way too much for him on the feet. He did very well with the grappling, was able to get off, Umar's takedowns and stuff a lot of them and do extremely well, but got outstruck and lost the fight in a standing battle. And one thing I see a lot of people saying, people that are picking Umar by, KO and stuff like that, that's fair enough. But don't discredit his ability to wrestle Merab. That's one thing I am kind of confident on. I don't feel like he's going to be able to just, do an O'Malley versus Merab and Merab just goes, shoots in and he has control of him and, it's going to be extremely hard for him to let go. I don't think that. I don't think Umar is going to be able to go in there, shoot a single or double leg and actually take Merab down and hold him down for the round. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think Umar can get Merab early on his back or even just get him a takedown to give Merab something to think about. And that's going to lead more openings on the feet where Umar is going to do his best work. I feel like that's going to be the major difference in this fight, is that Umar's stand-up is way better. And I know we said this about Sean O'Malley. I know we said this about Peter Yan. But the fact is, neither of those two are known for their wrestling. Umar Nurmagomedov, before the Corey Sandhagen fight, was looked at as a wrestler. Okay? And he still fucking is. The dude is a wrestler. That's something Merab hasn't faced yet. Okay? It's someone that can wrestle and strike to an extremely high level. Fair enough, Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist. I've talked about this before with them, Olympic gold medalists. They have no ability to hold people down. Okay? It's a fact. Okay? And when people are throwing elbows on you on top and you have to worry about knees, it's a different story. Anyway, Peter Yan, striker. Jose Aldo, not really a wrestler, striker. Cody Stateman is an unranked fighter. Marlon Moraes, yeah, had unbelievable first round in him, but that was about it. But the reality is, Merab has not fought someone that I can sit there and say, you can do it all. Peter Yan is probably the closest thing to that. But I think Aljamain Sterling kind of showed Peter Yan is a massive hole. And that's his fucking grappling. And Merab went in there and just shot a million takedowns, even though Yan was stuffing them all. But Umar is going to have clear advantage on the feet. I think everyone agrees with that. And I don't really see Merab being able to hold Umar up against the cage. I genuinely don't. I think he's going to have way too much room up against that cage. Reversals, sweeps, trips. I can see Umar getting stuff like that. I really am confident with the Nurmagomedovs up against the cage. Look at Islam Makhachev. Look at Khabib. Look at Usman Nurmagomedov and Bellator. That's where they do their work. Up against the cage. Gaethje was on Joe Rogan and said that as well. Like, if you can stay off that cage, it's extremely hard for them to get takedowns. Okay? That cage is Umar's friend. And it's also Merab's friend. But it's not going to be Merab's friend in this fight. Because Umar is going to be way too skilled up against that cage to be held out there and lose rounds that way. Way too skilled up against that cage. And that's kind of why I'm picking Umar, to be honest with you. Just because I think he's better than Merab. I think he is better than Merab I think Merab obviously has a better gas tank. I think you will not find anyone with a better gas tank than Merab. I think once Umar starts shutting down Merab's game plan and starts working on his own, gets Merab down with a takedown, starts landing those rangy kicks, starts getting inside and landing punches, landing strikes, I think that's when Merab's going to change from, okay, I fucking gonna hold you up against the cage, to I need to get a fucking takedown. And once I feel like when that happens, I just see Merab folding, and not folding, but Umar just taking control and kind of playing his own game. And don't get me wrong, this is going to be a tough fight for Umar, because Merab can go in there and just absolutely spam takedowns and stuff like that. That is always the possibility. And always the game plan if you're a Merab fan, which somehow there fucking are some out there that actually think that's an entertaining fight style, holding people up against the fucking cage. There's nothing entertaining about that, and I'm fucking sick of people saying you have to like it. I don't care. I hope Umar wins, because at least he was striking with Corey Sandhagen, and he's going to strike in this fight. End of story. But yeah, I'm going with Umar on this one. I'm going to go with Umar 49-46. 48-47 even, but I go 49-46 on this one. I like him in this fight, and I think he's going to get this job done. Now we're going over to the other side of the pond. Islam Makhachev is going to be taking on Arman Tsarukyan for the lightweight title. A rematch years in the making, and a rematch a lot of people thought that was going to happen. I've made it clear that I think I think Islam's going to win this fight. I made a video about it. I'm still picking Islam Makhachev to beat Arman Tsarukyan, because I've kind of thought about it. Let's say you're picking Arman. Are you really picking him to beat Islam Makhachev in a decision? And if you are, tell me how. Is he going to hold Islam down? Is he going to outstrike Islam? Is he going to nearly submit him and win rounds that way? I just think Islam Makhachev is fucking better than Arman Tsarukyan everywhere. And I've said this in the first video I made on this. This is going to be a competitive fight. I don't think Islam's going to go in there and absolutely smoke this dude. Okay, as much as I would fucking love that. Because Arman Tsarukyan, I respect Arman Tsarukyan, and I do like Arman Tsarukyan. And if he does win, I'm not going to be too mad, because I just respect and like the guy. He's entertaining. But I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough to say you're going to go in there and beat Makhachev, okay? The Charles Oliveira fight, yes, he did well on the feet, but Islam Makhachev's striking's come on so much, bro. He's one of the best boxers in the division, which is insane to think. I know a lot of people saying, the DP fight, the Dustin Poirier fight. As much as the Dustin Poirier fight was closer than we all thought, he ended up finishing him. And he ended up taking his back in the first round, ended up outboxing Dustin Poirier. You know what I mean? He ended up outboxing him and finishing him on a bad day. Yes, he didn't have much success with the takedowns up against the cage. But I feel like people are missing the elephant in the room here of, I don't see either of these guys really having a whole lot of success with the grappling. I think that the grappling is going to be cancelled out, and this is going to be a striking fight. Unfortunately, I do see a bit of clinch work coming from Makhachev in this fight. What I mean by the grappling is going to be cut out is, Islam's not going to be able to hold down Arman Tsarukyan, I don't think. I don't think he's going to go in there, shoot a double leg, slam him on the mat, take his back, and get him down and hold the rounds that way, or even submit the guy. I don't see it. I feel like it's going to be an extremely similar fight to the first fight, because these are both evenly matched. But I think Islam's just a little bit better here, a little bit better there. I think he's a little bit better everywhere, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be too much for him on the feet as well. He's fallen in love with his hands, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. But they're going to be the difference in this fight. I don't really see Arman holding Islam down. I don't see him chinning him either. His striking is definitely come along a long way, Arman Tsarukyan. And if you are picking Arman, I just would love to know what aspects of the fight you're picking him in. Are you picking him to KO him? Are you picking him via decision? Like, what are you picking Arman in? Because I think Makhachev is... If it's a decision, you're going to favour Makhachev. If there's a finish, you're definitely favouring Makhachev. Okay? I think Makhachev is better everywhere. And I don't think Arman Tsarukyan has the toolbox to be able to mix it up and beat Makhachev. I feel like if you're going to beat Makhachev, I feel like it's going to be like a Charles that'll go in there and just throw up a random triangle or hit him with a flying front kick or something like that. I think Arman's a bit too... He's kind of like... He doesn't have the one thing that could beat Makhachev. You know how Charles had that submission threat? Dustin had the chance of a knockout with the boxing. I don't see it with Arman Tsarukyan. I don't see that thing he has to go in there and win this fight. As much as I'm saying this, I'm picking Islam by 48-47. It's going to be a close fight. I can see Arman getting around it too. Maybe they're up against the cage and he reverses and is getting knees in the clinch and then they break and he has a little bit of success in the boxing. But I feel like Makhachev will just... steal an early round, steal the last round, then get a middle round in there, maybe 1, 3, and 5, something like that. And I think he's going to shut him down. And I'm looking forward to it. Because I really like Islam Makhachev. And it's going to be good to get a definitive lightweight go. But he did pop. We have to remember that. I'm going to talk about that if he wins. Because, if you're considering it, he'll have the most title defenses. If you really break it down, it's a short notice Dustin Poirier and Volkanovski on short notice, and another Volkanovski. They're the 3 title defenses. So not the best resume compared to even like Khabib or McGregor, Gaethje, and Poirier. Prime Poirier and good Gaethje, prime Gaethje coming off that Tony Ferguson win, I guess you could say. He doesn't have those credible wins, but I feel like an Arman Tsarukyan in his prime, that's a fucking win. The first Arman fight was short notice. Both of them, I feel like, as much as it's short notice for Arman, look at the fucking shape he was in. Like, that guy was obviously training. And then it was short notice for Makhachev too, fighting in Russia. So, this kind of biffs and bobs about the first fight. I do think it's going to be similar enough. I think it's going to be a similar first fight to the first fight, to be honest with you. I think both of them have kind of improved so much. But I think the stylistic fight that this is, I just think it's a lot of clinch work, going to be exchanges in the feet. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I think Makhachev's going to do a bit too... He's going to be able to do more when he needs to do it. He might be able to get a takedown in a close round. That edges him that round. He might be able to get the hands going in a round that edges him that round. Do a little bit up against the cage, you get another round that way. I don't think he will finish Arman Tsarukyan. If he did, that would be fucking insane. Like, if he went in there, took him down and submitted him in the first, or was lighting him up on the feet, then caught him later on. Like, that's a staple win Islam needs to really cement that pound for pound number 1. I think he's pound for pound number 1. I think a lot of people think he's pound for pound number 1 with the wins. But yeah, man. That's what I'm kind of thinking about this fight. That's my prediction for the whole card. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.